All right, welcome to this first session of what is going to be a stream of multiple videos that really covers how to build a thriving business. So, for so many years, I've been in consulting, business building, venture building for a while now. But for so many years, what I ended up noticing is that even if you try to build a business, you try to help a business in one area, another area is not working. You're talking about, let's say, marketing, sales is not working, value delivery, finance is not working. So I started really consulting 10 years ago. So 10 years ago, that's when I met my first mentor, and we started, training businesses we were teaching entrepreneurship, ICT in high schools, in universities. And I fell in love with the process of creating businesses, of building ventures. I ended up becoming a founder. I've also been a product manager with different companies. And so what really triggered me, or what really triggered this need to study businesses or to geek out of businesses, was really a problem that I constantly faced, as I was saying. So it's like people were saying, building a successful business or having a successful venture is a product of luck. There are no set formulas. You're going to try to build something, but you're not sure if it's going to succeed. So I started saying, if there are systematic ways to build a plane, to build a car, systematic ways to build a laptop, why don't we have systematic ways to build a business? Why do we leave that specific area of our lives out of chance? So I started digging. 20,000 hours of research. It takes 10,000 hours to be a master at something. I did twice that. I consulted one on one over 500 businesses. Through multiple programs that I've been part of, I've mentored over 5,000 startups, businesses, SMEs. So I've really seen, a wide range of businesses and products. So I started asking myself, how can we solve this problem? So I said, you know what? I'm going to start working on something that can de-risk businesses and investments at least at a rate of 80-90%. So that's how I started. Now, as I was saying, so would you say that you have a car if all you have is an engine and four wheels? That is a question that's where I started. So let's say if you run around and say, bro, like, I have a car, but all you have is four wheels and an engine, and if someone asks you, can you show us what you have, and then all you have is just four wheels and an engine, people will laugh at you, right? Now, building a business is like building a car. There are so many interconnected pieces that have to come together for something to be called a business. Now, this is where most entrepreneurs, most aspiring entrepreneurs get it wrong. You think building a business is just having a product and having a team and then go to the market and start charging people. No, that's not how it works. A car has so many interconnected parts. And now, the kicker? The kicker is that when one small part of a car, I'm going to give you an example. So recently, I parked my car and I left the inside light on. So when I woke up in the morning, I tried to start my car, it's not starting. I called the mechanic and he was like, Willie, I think you ran out of battery. Now, the battery is still working. The car is still working. The engine is working. The wheels have air in them. The windshield is working. Everything is working. But because the battery is not charged, the business stops completely. So this is what happens to people who thinks they have a business. Everything is in order, but somehow they don't know what is happening. So because there are so many interconnected parts that have to come together in order to have a business that is running consistently. Now, it takes skill and ingenuity, but if you don't know what goes where and when, you're just an amateur. Think about it. You need a building a business, building businesses, building ventures is a skill. It takes ingenuity to build it. And if you just, I think, no pun intended, but this is the truth. Most entrepreneurs are just amateurs. They don't know what they're doing. They just take things, they claim they have businesses, but they don't really have businesses. All they have is just a product and one or two people around the product claiming to sell the product, but they don't really have a product. And then they end up failing and they ask themselves, like, what is happening? You just try to build something that you do not understand. And this is what is really, really mind blowing. The fact that you do not know, that you're not skilled enough to, you don't have the skills to build a business, but you think you know them, it does not affect the fact that building a business takes a skill. So you're just caught in that dilemma. So amateurs lack skills. They violate rules, which indirectly lessens their chance of success automatically. So your business failed or your business is not taking off because you're violating rules that you do not even know. And the more rules you know, the easier your life is going to be, the easier your ride is going to be. So the difference between you and those ahead of you is not what they do, but what they know. The difference between Bill Gates and the rest of us is what he knows about certain things, about economics, about the monetary system, about ventures, about problem market fit. It's a collection of information, and these videos are going to equip you with exactly that. And I'm going to keep them very practical and very short so that you can listen to it when you're driving, listen to it when you're at home, when you wake up in the morning and you want something to remind you what you're building, why you're building what you're building, or how to do it, you know where to go. So this is very interesting. So the quality of the kind of business that you build depends on what you know. What? How is that even possible? Well, whoever knows the car the most knows how to operate it better than others. If you don't know how to get the best out of anything, a device, you're not going to operate it at its full potential. You're going to use only like 10%. So that's exactly why I built the startup growth infrastructure. I built the startup growth infrastructure to help people build ventures in a systematic way, a predictable process to build a venture, a predictable, systematic process to build a venture. Now, what is the startup growth infrastructure? It's a collection of interconnected frameworks and mental models that helps you build a thriving business. That's exactly what it is. Frameworks and mental models. Because the reason why these are very, very important is because if you don't have a structured way to build anything, let me give you a very simple example. If today Toyota did not have a framework to build cars, they would build one day they will build a car that works, another one. We would not have consistent ways of doing things. So this infrastructure is going to help you build exactly that. To give you the mental models, which is the mindsets, the thinking frameworks to build that, and then give you the frameworks on how exactly to do it. And this is what is going to make my content, this kind of content, this YouTube channel, very, very, very interesting. Now, let me show you how the startup growth infrastructure looks like. Take a look at this. So what most people don't realize is that the entrepreneur is not the doer. He's the organizer of resources. That's what the entrepreneur do or does. That's what the entrepreneur does. You're supposed to pull the strings and make things happen. But if you have no strings to pull, the strings are going to pull you. So you need systems in place that have buttons, and you are equipped with the knowledge to know which buttons to press. Now, when I was doing the study, performing this study, I realized that businesses have five different parts, five main parts: value creation, marketing, sales, value delivery, and finance. So each and every aspect of it of that those pillars has the core building blocks. Like in value creation, you have need, want, or are you encouraging one of the two? In marketing, you have receptivity, attention, and remarkability. In sales, you have transaction, trust, and common ground. Value delivery, value stream, distribution channel, expectation, predictability, scaling in general. Finance, it's the usual. You have profit margin, value capture, and valuation. But this is not the end of the story. What makes this infrastructure also very, very interesting is that while we are building a plan for you, we also understand that if you have an amazing plan, but the pilot sucks, then he's going to crash the plane. You need an amazing plane paired with a competent pilot so that you can drive your business. So this is exactly what we are going to go through all of this entire process and see every single part of the system. What does it mean? How do they work together? How do we implement it in our businesses? And how do we fix it? That's the last part, which is where we cover understanding, analyzing, and improving systems. Because as an entrepreneur, you need to know how, if the system breaks, how do I improve it? So this is the right way of building a business. This is what we've been missing all of these years. So once you have the frameworks, the mentor models, you can go ahead and implement it. So I created a WhatsApp group, which is a private community called Startup Growth Resources. I'm going to be sharing insights. We're going to have live events. We are going to have in-person events. Everything that is valuable, every trend that I'm thinking of, that I come across, every book, every insight, I'm going to be sharing it in the group. So join that WhatsApp group. It's free. Go there, join others, and then let's build amazing businesses together. Now, back to what we were talking about here. There's an amazing quote by Paul Graham, who is the founder of Y Combinator. He said that I really love. He said, make something people want. There's nothing more valuable than an unmet need that is just becoming fixable. If you find something broken that you can fix for a lot of people, you found a gold mine. Make something people want. That's why this first video is called Value Creation. We are teaching you how do you validate your idea. What is the process of validating an idea? How do you know that this idea is actually worth building? How do you know it? So there are three pillars of value creation. So these three pillars are going to be the pillars upon which you build your business. There are pillars, there are mentor models, frameworks that you use, because most entrepreneurs don't have these frameworks in their minds, in their resources, day-to-day resources, and that's why they fail. That's why they fail. So the first pillar is a need. The second one is want. The third one is encouraged. Are you solving a need, a want, or are you encouraging a need or a want? What is a need? Essential solutions: food, shelter, security, safety. A want: non-essential that enhances life: luxury products, entertainment, cars. Encouraged: things people may not initially consider but can be encouraged to want through storytelling, marketing, or societal influence. Luxury brands, vacations, fine dining, things that pertains to status. Now, how do you utilize these pillars? When you're building a business, when you have an idea, the first thing you have to ask yourself is this a need? Is this a want? Now, if it is not a need or a want, can I encourage that through storytelling and marketing? Can I steer the need for it? Can I create a need for it? Now, once you have that in place, then you're like, okay, now we have the need. We've locked where we belong. We know where we belong. It's a need. This is a want. Now, if something is a need, a want, or are you going to encourage it? It completely shapes how you're going to, like everything that you're going, like how you move forward from there. This is how powerful these resources are. When you decide that something is a need, you're not going to proceed as someone who is working on something that is a want. You're not going to, there is a reason why the fashion brands don't advertise the same way as food brands. They don't. They're completely different. The way they advertise and the storytelling they use are completely different from someone who is, selling like a soap. You get what I mean? Now, I think you've seen the infrastructure. So this belongs here. Let me show you. So this belongs right here. I'll show you where that belongs. I will show you exactly where that belongs. So you have a need, a want, or are you encouraging one? Now, the social status, I said, you see it is there. Now, the needs, when you go to the needs, now let's go, how do we identify a need? Because needs are different. There are five core drives of drives of human needs. There's a need to acquire, buying cars, a need to bond, socializing with people, events, concerts, a need to learn, schools, Udemy, Alex, a need to defend, cybersecurity, security companies, a need to feel, vacation, all of those good stuff, the things that pertains to feeling. Now, if you say, okay, I'm addressing a need, what kind of needs are you addressing? Is your product going to feel the need, to feed the need of humans of bonding, acquiring, learning, defending, or feeling? Is it only one need, two needs, three needs, five needs? What is it? Now, let's go back to our slides. Back to our slides. So it's very important to know where you belong, where your business, where your idea belongs. Now, if you're solving something and then you thought it was a need, but when you went to the five core human needs, you could not see where your idea fits, it means it's something else. Before you waste your time, before you waste your resources, before you waste your money, that is the reality. So make sure that you know where does my idea fit? If it doesn't fit, then it means it's a red flag. So turn right away. Now, in this first video, which is session one, I want to cover a few rules and laws. Now, the reason why you don't jump off of a building, it's because you are aware of a rule called gravity. Now, if you were to jump off of a building, but you don't know that gravity exists, does gravity apply? It applies. It doesn't care whether you know it or not. Why? Because ignorantia juris non excusat. Ignorance of the law does not cancel the law. It actually emphasizes it. It enforces it. So, rules and laws in business, because the reason why your business has failed, the reason why your idea is not taking off, or your friend's idea, or the businesses, the graveyard of enterprise is filled with businesses that violated these rules and laws. The first one is called the iron law of the marketplace. It states even the most ingenious idea will fail if no one wants it. Create something no one wants, and it is a waste. You remember the needs? You're creating something that doesn't fit anywhere here or here. Let me show you. Or here. Man, I'm sorry. That's why the people who have worked with me know this. When an idea is not going to work, I just let you know. Because I don't want to meet you 5 years down the line and you're like, come on, really, you should have told me. I don't want that. I want to meet you. You want to meet me. And then I say, dude, I'm so glad that you actually talked me out of that idea. So glad. Now, the second law is the law of status. Humans evolved to have a pecking order where power and status shape social dynamics, influencing how people perceive themselves and others across all levels of core human drives. So when you're building a business that reinforces status, that's why Lamborghinis, Ferraris, Aston Martins are always sold out. This is something that really caught my attention. Like this one blew my mind. There's a new brand, a new Rolls Royce version, electric Rolls Royce called Rolls Royce Spectre. The car cost $500,000. It was released, I think, in just a matter of days, if it's not even hours. It was sold out completely because it reinforces status. People don't buy Rolls Royces for comfort only. Some buy them for comfort, don't get me wrong. But others, they buy Rolls Royce for reinforcing status. They say, dude, I've made it. If you see me rolling in a Rolls Royce, it means I made it. I've made it in life. That's what it is. Some people are just there is a growing market of status. So if you're building a business and you're tackling one of these, you are in the want sector and you're not reinforcing status. Because what are you selling otherwise? Because if you're not selling something that I really need, that if I don't get it, I will die, and you're selling a want, it means it has to be attached to status. It has to raise my status to a degree. Rolls Royce has a community, like a social media of Rolls Royce owners. That's how far they take it. That's how far they take it. So if you are in the want sector and you're not attaching status to it, then they're not going to get the point. They'll be like, okay, this glass, how much is this? $5,000? Why? Oh, there's a famous luxury utensil, like Italian brand down here. So if someone sees this at your home, you'll be like, dude, you're somewhere. Next, the mercenary rule. Don't start a business for the money alone. Alone. Because it always takes more effort than you first expected. So when you start a business and the only thing you're targeting is money, you're going to fail. There are levels where you're not going to exceed because there are levels where the only way to go past that level is to have a purpose beyond money. That's why this is why many entrepreneurs in Africa don't build generational wealth. It's because there is no purpose behind the money. Every family that has ever created wealth in the entire world, I'm talking about the Rockefellers and the ones in that categories, there was a purpose behind what they want to build. I don't care if that purpose is what you can call shallow or not, but you need a drive, internal drive that is beyond just money. So if you're just a business, but you think like a mercenary, it's not going to work. There are levels you're not going to exceed. In other words, the Crusader rule. So the Crusader rule states that you need to evaluate new business ideas before you proceed. What is a crusader? It's a crusader. You have to see if you have a crowd, if you have a crowd around the business. Are people going to opt for your business? Very important. So there's a huge difference between an interesting idea and a solid business. Gotta love these videos, man. Like I'm excited. So there's a difference between an interesting idea and a solid business. Because an idea can be an interesting one, but it's not a solid business, which means it does not address a need, a want, or encouraging one. Maybe encouraging one is going to be tough. We'll see how to do that. How do you evaluate a good idea? How do you tell that, oh, this is an amazing idea? And this program, I'm going to give you things that most incubators don't give you, most accelerators don't give you, not because they are bad people, but because they also don't know it. This came from 10 years of working with over 5,000 businesses. So it's going to be a very good night. It's going to be a nice one. This is going to be a nice one. So make sure that you join the WhatsApp group, the community, so that we keep the conversation going, and share this video, subscribe, all of that good stuff, comment, and let's bring this thing to the world, because people need these things. You have to pay the bills. If the business is not paying the bills, then you don't have a business. Quit it and find something that can pay your bills. Very important, because you don't want to be in a position where your business is, you have the downside, like Daniel Priestley usually say, you have the downside of running a business, but you don't have the upside of running a business, which means you're suffering the suffering of an entrepreneur, but no, you're not getting rewarded as entrepreneurs, because entrepreneurs suffer, they work hard. This like work hard mentality, dude, blah blah blah. But dude, let me tell you, if you're suffering like an entrepreneur, but you're not printing millions, literally, find a good job. I'm here to break your heart. Find a nice job. You can find a nice job. Find a well-paying job where you have the downside of having a job, but you also have the upside of earning a job, which is security and a good salary. Instead of having an idea that don't have a crusade around it. You need a crusade, literally. A group of people who are like, we want that idea, man. Like, go ahead and implement it. Last but not least, economically valuable skills. Any skill or knowledge that helps you create value, market, sell, deliver value, or manage finances is economically valuable. So when you're creating a business, you want to see in your arsenal of skills, what skills do you have that can develop this business? The purpose of a job is to help you develop these economically valuable skills. learning to code, learning to market, learning to speak, learning to use Microsoft Suite, learning to use AI. All of those are economically valuable skills because they're going to help you when you're creating value in the marketplace. Now go there and see if you can leverage some of the skills and then create a business. If you don't have them, go develop them. So if you're building a business and you're using the skills that are not economically valuable, that is a hobby because the purpose of a business is a process that constantly makes money. If it's not doing that, it's a hobby. And you can do hobbies on the weekend, but you don't make hobbies your 9 to 5, your Monday to Friday. No, because you will be suffering. There is a reason, there is a way to follow your dreams without hurting yourself. So if you're building business, if you're trying to build your business but you don't have the skills, no, don't do that. Go hone those skills on in a job, in a corporate. I've had jobs my whole professional life, and I was mixing it with business because the environment did not allow me to have like a full-time business that I can have. But I do now consulting with multiple organizations in Rwanda and abroad. So it's a process, and that's totally fine to do that. So my closing um, thought on this is that you're watching this, you're an entrepreneur, go and master these mental models, install them in your brain. When you're about to pursue an endeavor, go come back to these videos and watch and say, is it a need? Is it a want? Am I going to encourage one? How do I proceed? In the next video, we will see how to evaluate an idea, to see if an idea is worth trying or not worth trying. These videos are a collection of business literature, of books that I've read over the years and experiences I've had. So it's going to be an amazing time. And thanks for watching. Hope this was very useful. I'll catch you in the next one.